Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Libraries of Seravek, starring, today, just the Bard. Due to the inevitability of schedules, people weren't able to make it, and even I had only so much time to prep a session. That is immaterial, however, because we are having a solo adventure with just Anna the Bard. And we are going off script. We're going to find the story as we go, and we're going to see how bad it is and how horribly she can ruin the reputation of her party in under 2 hours. Hi, Anna. Welcome.
Hey!
Welcome.
I'm the face of the party. I have the highest charisma.
Yeah. And yet...
Excuse me, I wasn't the one ruining the party's reputation in What's-Its-Face town.
All I'm saying is charisma has never gotten any party, or prevented any party I have DM'd for from getting into trouble.
You know, now that you mention that, yeah, you're right.
Charismatic characters are generally the most useless, or the ones who cause the problems. But we're not here to talk about that. Because, well, the party got back from their first major mission, and this was actually your group's first big job. While I can't speak for all of you on how long you've been in the city or in Kelda itself, you are all fairly new to working at Westinghill, and very likely working in the book acquisition job in general. You're probably, more or less fresh out of whatever bardic college or other institution or training you came from. You're probably quite young. What's your...
Well, 18.
What's your story?
I don't know, I never really came up with a background for Caria. Mostly because, it was originally going to be a test campaign, and I figured we were going to run like 5 sessions and then be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked you into making this a real campaign. And
Yes.
Then school happened, so...
Yeah.
What I do know about Caria is that she's very smart and very charismatic, but she's not very wise.
Everyone needs to go through that stage.
She's got a wisdom of 9.
Yes, and a strength of 8.
Yep. So, it could be worse. We've got a sorcerer and another party with a strength of 7. So.
Yeah, well.
I'm on second, right?
Sorcerers pull
anyway.
their weight with charisma, don't they?
Hey, I have better charisma than that sorcerer.
It's a joke, because they're charisma-based spellcasters.
Shut up. So, I know she's young, she's whimsical, and apparently she's the only thing keeping this party on track.
Apparently.
Which was a very disconcerting role for me, and for Caria, to be perfectly honest with you. Caria did not join this library expecting to be the one in charge.
Why did you join this library?
Well, Caria's first 2 loyalties are knowledge and poetry.
Mm-hmm. But you're not really... You are searching these things out, but it's hardly, creating it. This is, like, secondary to your muse, is it not?
Well, so, we're in, the Amber Empire, which, their
No, you're not.
cataloging system is the self-indulgent
Wait,
author.
are you from there?
I figured I was from here, yeah.
No, we are bordering, we shall say, the Amber Empire, but Kelda has actually maintained independence, despite using the empirical system for the most part.
Okay, but my point is the cataloging system is the, indulgent one, right?
No, the empirical system is super rigid. Imagine animal classification for finding a book. So it's just smaller and smaller breakdowns of where something is sorted.
I meant the one where it's about authors, not...
No, authors are forbidden in the imperial system.
Okay.
As treasonous, treason,
idolatry, yeah.
Idolatry, thank you, that is the word. Because all knowledge is in service of the Empress.
Okay, so I'm definitely not from Kelda.
Oh, no. See, Kelda tends to avoid that. So you might have started off in the Amber Empire, which is just over the bridge, effectively. Pelham is basically a puppet state of the Empire, and follows all of the rules and regulations. So if you came to Kelda, it would absolutely be because Westinghill is this great, lavish literary city where they love pomp and fashion around books. They love words, but they still technically follow the laws and the sorting of the Empire. But this would be a place for you to come to really stretch yourself literarily.
As a peacock?
Yes, but also...
yeah.
That's generally for the upper class, the patricians who love their outfits and their balls. But for the everyman or the creator, massive publishing industry, not so much with the actual industry behind that, which now belongs to Shaw on the other side of the river, but you still have these long-established publishing houses, these arenas with performance of art, inns that are devoted entirely to the recitation and discovery of performers and poets. So...
Look, I came here to write poetry, to get hacked, and, write more poetry, I guess, and then, get noticed for it.
And somewhere along the way you discovered you can't actually feed yourself doing that, as very few can.
Every street corner has somebody reciting poetry or singing.
And here you are jobbing it.
Yeah. Not exactly what I planned for my first job out of college, but...
To be honest...
in this economy.
Jack might lack the...
Jack?
Junior apprentice, collector.
Sorry, I thought you meant my name.
No. Jack is... it's actually a uniquely Westinghill term. Grimjaw came up with them all himself when he became head of acquisitions.
Oh my god, if I'm soloing it, I can become friends with Grimjaw. I want to be friends with Grimjaw the Red!
Oh, we can try. But basically, you may feel that it lacks really the literary merit, but one, it's super stylish to be a Jack, a book hunter. Like, you've got cool points if you can do that. And working at Westinghill, that's not a bad library. It's not scummy.
It's not, they're much more special.
It's largish, it's respectable, it's only 100 years old, 160 or so, and its motto is questing, Q-Westing, for knowledge. So it's perfect for you.
You're a piece of shit.
Oh, the Westinghill Library. But, my point is, you may feel that this lacks really the merit you were hoping for. But one, it's great for research, especially when you're doing morbid poetry. This really gets you out into the world. It pays the bills. It pays the bills rather nicely.
It does. There's definitely worse jobs to have.
Mm-hmm. So...
I mean, I'm sure Caria's tried doing food service with these ones. That doesn't Caria likes people. Caria does not like cuts.
So, while you can definitely pursue this Grimjaw friendship, I do want to add that at the end of last session, you guys were given a bonus plus your entire month's salary in advance. So that's not just
Yeah.
That was like, what, 2,000 gold that you were paid?
Well, I have 1,072 gold in my thing written down.
Okay, maybe you were given 1,000 in total, 500, and then the
I
bonus.
think it was 1,000.
Okay, so
72 was definitely.
what I'm saying is that is an almost sickening amount of money to have.
It is.
And now I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you can totally spend that.
Well, I mean, I know where I'm going first.
Okay. Hats. Okay, yeah. Because I wanted to use the beginning of the session for everyone to accommodate time to buy new equipment. Because you started out very bare bones, and this gives you a chance to, like, buy a fancy magical item, or, you know...
Dude, fancy magical items cost significantly more than 1,072.
A mildly interesting magical item. Like a novelty, beer drinking hat, something like that.
That's not adorable. That's crap.
No, but I do also want to add, you are all at the moment basically homeless.
Oh.
None of you own property in the city. That's clear. Like, none of you have lived here. You don't have a house, and you've probably only got short-term lodging. Part of what we were going to be dealing with in this session, had it been for the full party, was you guys were going to actually try to find yourselves a bar. But you don't need to worry about that, because I assume you're not going to make the decision for everyone. But know that if you want to go look for information, you don't currently have, like, your go-to spot. I wanted to leave that up to you as a party, as, like, an important bonding element, finding your bar.
Yeah. Okay, there are going to be moments when I'm not talking because I'm trying to write stuff down. And I know since it's just you and me, there's not going to be a whole lot of quotes, but fuck it, my queue is huge.
Alright. You can always just re-listen to the recording afterwards, because it's not going to be very long, and that way we don't need to waste time.
Alright.
Those silences really fill up a space when it's you and me. Or if you really want me to, you really want to write something down immediately, just let me know. I'll read a random wiki entry of history.
Fun facts about Seravek.
Alright, what were you saying, Matt?
I'm just looking at my inventory list, and honestly, I'm pretty good on that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I've been doing this long enough that I know how to find, well, actually, no, I could do with some I've got a hide shirt, right now, for armor.
Hide?
But, I mean, you know how my armor is. It's,
yeah. Well, if you really wanted to invest...
My AC is better when... What?
Oh. Sorry, I said if you really want to invest, leaf armor is always the go-to. With like, that's like, what, 500 gold, no armor penalties, and it's like a +5?
Leaf armor?
Yeah, leaf armor. I think. That's what I used as a bard.
What bard?
But, you could invest in a masterwork musical instrument.
Dude, I don't play music.
You recite poetry, which means you might accompany it with, like, a drum if you wanted, just for, you know, proper rhythm. You know, as the epic poets would have done.
That would require me to, you know, put ranks into perform musical instruments.
I mean, 1, you can spare them as of next level. And 2, it would only be benefiting your performances. Because Masterworks give you a +1 to performance, and wouldn't that give you a plus to your bardic perform?
I don't think so, actually.
No? I would assume you'd tack that onto your recitation.
I don't think so. I think it's too,
Well, I'd say, if you're doing minor accompaniment, absolutely.
Deep armor is more expensive, but it's the exact same bonus.
It probably doesn't have armor check penalties, though. There's a reason it's really good.
No, it doesn't, but armor check penalties are for people with dex.
strength and dexterity, both of which are important when you're running
Neither
away
of
from
which I
things.
have.
And
Neither
trying
of-
not to trip over monkeys.
Yeah. Leaf armor has a... Oh, I mean, chain shirt is the only light armor that goes up to +4.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have a -2 armor check penalty.
Alright. Well, I wanted to suggest it.
Stop it. Well, okay, so there's leaf armor, which, you're right, doesn't have an armor check penalty, and allows for +5 dex bonus, which is great when you got a -1 dex bonus. What I've got right now is a hide shirt, which, yeah, I'm gonna go with the chain shirt, because what I really need is the AC, given my tendency to attract attention.
Mm-hmm.
And also significantly cheaper than the leaf armor. So that's -100. Calculate that later. What is that? It's +4. Light. Check penalty is 2. Alright, let's add that bonus to my AC. Now I have a 13 AC! Hooray!
It's so sad.
It is. Look, I have a -1 dex. My flat-footed is better than my regular AC.
That's immensely
And
distressing.
my touch AC is 9.
Like, I didn't even know that was possible.
I told you this when I made the character.
I know.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm pretty much useless with regular weapons. So, calculator, to figure out how much that is -100. That's not what I wanted to hit. There we go. I mean, I've got regular supplies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got, soap, I've got rope, I've got, a water skin, backpack. I have, and I quote, marbles, comma, so many. Because that was entirely necessary. And, dice and cards, because I felt as a bard that was necessary.
Mm-hmm. Naturally. So you said you were interested in a hat, though.
I'm very interested in tiny hats.
Okay. Because there's actually a haberdasher that you've heard some impressive things about.
Okay.
Yes. And her name is Bianca Lockridge.
Got it.
Alright.
A haberdasher.
So, you've got her name jotted down just for, like, future adventures when you want to go to your haberdasher?
Doing it now. Bianca Lockridge?
Mm-hmm. She has her shop in Crafters Each, which is actually just north of the library.
Mm-hmm.
You're near the Swift, which is the river dividing you from Shaw. But you're up in this northeast corner. More of a quarter of the city, actually. And so it's right nearby you. You're actually in a great location, I want to say, for your needs, because you've got Crafters East to the north, you've got the Queen's Theater to the west, and south is Publishers Row, which, in addition to some nice inns, has, all the major publishing houses that have built up over the several hundred years the city has been developing as a publishing and literary center.
Okay.
So, Bianca's shop. It is small, but not cramped. Like, it isn't a cheap, small space. It's a very well kept building. Lovely paint on the front with a wide window leading to a meticulously cleaned and sorted shop. And Bianca is an older woman with light blonde hair that's almost bleached white, but that's also just because of the strands of gray that have stretched through it. And she's currently in the midst of applying these flowers and small purple crab ornaments, you're not sure if they're real or not, to the brim of a very wide sun hat. And she looks up when you enter and says, "Oh, hello, welcome to my shop."
Hi. It's a very lovely shop.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Yes, little hat.
How little? Do you mean...
Like that,
Oh, go, please.
like the kind that you sort of pin to your hair.
Okay. So would you say a tiny hat, a teacup hat, a micro hat, a subatomic hat?
I didn't know there were all these terms.
Well, it's really just to break down the size. You see, the subatomic ones are tricky, but I have had very satisfied customers before. But, I feel that is not quite what you're looking for. And she places the crab delicately on the brim, whips out this tape measure that kind of extends in 4 different directions. So she just pulls stretches out from a band that didn't look like it contain stored amounts, but she just pulls it out and just shapes it around your head as you try to choke out a sentence. She obviously is talking over you very politely, very quickly.
Did you make the Ollivander of hats?
No. I mean...
This sounds like Ollivander from Harry Potter.
In what way? Old or professional?
Old professional with magical tape measure. And also talk.
He had a magical tape measure?
Yeah.
Look,
it measured on its own.
Anna, I am literally making this character up as I go.
Well, I know where your influences
I'm
are
not basing it off anything in particular. I just drawing things out of the ether that I might be
you're pulling
tapping
this out
the
of your
same,
ass, like
the same
else.
well as J.K. Rowling.
Okay, keep going.
The tape measure does not measure things on its own. However, it does, she draws out more things in direction until you have kind of this wrap around your head. And she's listing 4 more numbers than you think really would measure the, width and height of a hat. And she's like, okay, let us say 4 micro caps by 7 1/4, and 1/4 of that 1/8. What are you thinking for design?
Oh, I don't know. What do you have? I'm just really excited. I'm like trembling with excitement. I was thinking about a hat as a gift.
As a gift?
As a gift to befriend one of my colleagues, because I admire him greatly, and I would like to be friends with him.
Oh. A friendship hat. Okay, well, in designs, well, of course, we had the nor'easter, the boater, the outlaw, derby, top hat, motorboard for the celebratory events, a cap, flat cap, other cap, south cap, beret, hard hat, sometimes called a helmet, a helm, but really I only deal with the soft helms. Beanie,
well, he's
bobble. Yes?
He's a former soldier, and he's rather difficult to read, but I was thinking, well, I mean, my initial idea was like a small top hat in red.
Small top hat in red. For a very serious type, you said?
He's a former soldier. I don't actually know how serious he is.
Former soldier. Well. Well,
nothing,
she bustles into the back and brings out a very formal-looking military cap. This is a full-sized thing. It's not a tiny hat. And it's kind of a domed thing with several small pluming feathers off to the sides. Not one of the big Brussels caps that you would get on like a Roman soldier, but something more parady. I am thinking something like this. Let's say a deep burgundy or purple, a cascade of yellow and red feathers. It's serious, but still with a sense of accomplishment, of dignity, and yet you're not afraid to show what you can do, what you have done.
I was hoping for a little more whimsy.
Whimsy. Okay.
I apologize.
She bustles into the back, comes out with a stuffed squirrel, and plops it on the top. This sort of whimsy, or... She takes the squirrel off, puts it behind the counter, takes out a knife, and just stabs it into the side. Or like this.
Definitely not.
No.
I don't want to think I don't want him to think I'm threatening him.
No. I mean, it looks, you know, kind of like it's deliberately stuck in there like a feather. It's just also like a long stiletto.
Oh, so you mean like it's like alongside the feathers?
Yeah, like you could probably get a micro sword there, so it's less, you know, like a stealth dagger and more like a mini broadsword.
Yes, then yes, exactly like that.
All right. Do you want it micro, hat, small, normal size? What do you think?
I'm thinking, how big is a micro hat?
Micro hat, for your needs. It would probably be about a third of the size of a hat. Like, it covers, you know, roughly a third of the head. So like a corner, it would be doffed off at the side. The teacup hat is probably a little closer to what you would go for, which is really, you know, maybe a brim that's the width of your finger and thumb making a circle. That's a teacup hat.
I'll go micro hat.
Micro hat. Okay.
Yeah, it's a slightly larger hat for a slightly larger hat.
She's like, very well, and that will be... I will need a week.
Okay.
I have a couple hats I need to get through before it. But I will have this order done up. If you come by in a span's time, it will be ready for you, and... Oh, a price for this. She starts ticking off things, jotting some materials down, and square... military pump. Let us say 25 gold.
Okay, I can do that.
That's quite expensive for a hat, but It definitely
is,
seems like she's a professional. She's the real deal.
I would give her that. Do you want it now, or?
Have some faith in me. I trust you in this business arrangement. You will pay when you arrive.
Yes, I will. I'm very excited about it.
She also has a fair range of pre-made hats on the shelves, so it seems like worst case scenario, she just has another hat. By the way, while you're here, do you want to look at anything on the shelves in terms of hats? Like, as far as women's go, they've got like the cloche, the schoolboy, the very wide Victorian with those like bows and I guess streams of fabric hanging down off them. Those like super fancy ones. Yeah, right. You can probably get a small one. You would absolutely be able to get a small one of those.
I will look at those.
Last thing, do you want enchantment on it? I forgot to ask.
No, thank you.
Okay. Standard fashion hat. Very well. Then I will see you next week for that. Unless, of course, you want to get the mini hat. A mini hat.
The what?
I was trailing off there. It's unimportant.
Okay. I'm gonna look at the little hats on the shelf.
Your eye was getting caught by the Victorian, right? I like that. Go on. Tell me more. Tell me more of this tiny hat.
Look! Tiny hats are important in real life too, Taylor.
No, geez, look, I know nothing about hats. I'm scrambling here.
Look, I have no idea what's going on either. We're both talking at our asses.
I know, like, we don't need to put this online. It's just kind of weird experience of your character.
We're definitely putting this online. It's absolute bullshit, and I love it.
It's like the most boring discussions. Now, let's talk more about hats, because there's the Vagabond, which is like the cool private eye hat. You've got the, I think a Breton is like a little, little Madeline from Paris.
No, I was thinking one of the little Victorians.
Okay.
Like a teacup Victorian with like one of those little brooches on the front.
Yeah. Awesome. Wait, hold on. What's a fascinator?
Oh, it's a big shiny thing. It's literally just to distract.
Extravagance? I can't read the word. I'm trying to read. The words are really small. I think it has to be like some sort of noun for extravagant person. Headwear.
It is. I've heard of it.
It's super fancy. Anyway. So it was small, Victorian. What's your hair color?
What did I go for? I went for black.
Okay, you could probably match most anything then, color-wise, to that. Depending on your outfit, but we won't worry about that. You matched your outfit to your hat, not the other way around.
Obviously. No, I went for the naturally emo look with the floppy black hair and the dark eyes. Okay.
In terms of ornamentation, do you want like a bow and then like a big peacock feather, or do you want just like... Do you want the entire top of this hat to just be bow? Like this massive bow the size of like a very fat gerbil?
No, I want the decorations to be relatively minimal.
Okay.
I was thinking like a 327.
Oh yes, a fine model.
Are you still speaking as Bianco or as a?
No, that's me.
That's all you.
Yes, the classic 327, 1911 model. It's great.
All right. I buy my 11th tiny hat. Yes,
That's
and
your
I'm gonna wear it.
11th?
I already had 10.
Oh my god, we're gonna need just like a rolling illustration of your hats.
I can get a Caria to illustrate my hat.
You don't feel that's gonna be a little aggressive? I need you to draw my character in 11 different tiny hats.
That's not quite what I meant. But Akari did illustrations for all our characters in the online campaign of her own free will, and also frequently doodled skeletons all over the map because we were playing in Roll20.
Yeah. No, that is the one thing I miss having a character a lot when I'm DMing. Like, you don't, even when you have fun NPCs that you like, you don't really get to develop personality in the same way as a player.
This is true.
You don't get to request fan art. Except for Misha.
Unless, of course, you have your
I can get
pet NPC. Sorry?
I mean, I can request fan art of Misha or Zez.
I guess so.
Oh, if only Zez could be in this campaign setting.
Why couldn't she?
Well, technically she's a drow. She doesn't have to be in this.
That's true, yeah.
But she was a history nerd. So maybe
I was sort of expecting like Misha to be a Zez.
Oh no. Misha's her own person. She's much less excitable than Zez, and a lot more, many more feelings about the party.
Yeah, Zez was more interested in her place in the party, which is how Alice and John got away with teaching class. Was that Alice and John, or was that Michaela and
John? Michaela and John.
Yeah, they taught her.
Alice just hated Zez.
Because she failed her friend check.
Yeah, I know. And then she never tried to like be friendly to her. She just, she doesn't like me immediately. I despise her.
It was so weird. It's great. I have it immortalized on the blog.
No. You just need to try. She'll like you. So I might just make, I might bring her in her own way. She could just be equatorial in skin tone, and that will be the transition.
She goes from drow to random black lady?
Well, just, yeah.
Okay.
That way I can still have the same mental image. I never really imagined drow as like their purple shade. Like, that always seems a bit weird. I generally see a few more skin tones in there.
I always imagine drow as being sort of blue-black.
Yeah, which always like strikes me as odd to try to imagine. So.
Well, you clearly just don't have a high fantasy enough imagination.
No, like I see it. It just seems odd. I don't like that.
Wrong.
Like, it's a strange shade. Like, they're grape flavored.
What? I said blue, not purple.
Yeah, but like that purple blue, you know, because it's not very obvious when you look at them, but it's kind of like they're glowing a bit. That's how they always seem to be illustrated. They're always glowing. There's just like a lot of purple used in like the lighting of illustrations, blue or purple. So, trust me, this is a thing.
I buy the hat. How much does the new hat cost?
Oh, that's an off-the-shelf generic model for her. Like, obviously they're all made with skill and talent, but that's only 10 gold.
Okay. I have spent another 10 gold, and it was totally worth it. I wear my hat out of the shop.
Awesome. Oh, my, that drow illustration should not be on safe search.
You find an overly sexy drow lady?
I found a drow sex dungeon.
Oh, show me!
On, like, the 5th line. No, the 2nd line. It's like the 5th image. For
Send it
drow
to me.
illustration, what? I'm not sending you
Okay.
this.
Come on.
No, this is weird smut.
It's the internet.
And it's apparently on someone's WordPress.
Are you surprised?
Oh my god. Okay, never mind. I do have to send you this. I saw the
Don't say-
background of the image. No, hold on.
You just sent me Edwardian women's hats again.
Curses.
Except, no, you didn't. That is definitely, that's not even drow.
They have purple
Those are very clearly not
skin.
drow.
They have pointy ears and purple skin. Those are totally drow.
See, remember my brother now. Those are white. Their skin isn't purple.
That's lighting.
No, their skin is definitely not purple. I don't know what you see, but I do not see dark
That-
skin on it.
That is purple in all the shading. It is a light
Yeah, that's
purple.
the lighting, not the skin color.
It is, though.
No, it's not.
The lighter patches are where the above light is hitting them. But you can
Oh.
see the purple. Anna,
No, you are just... You're
we
not,
are
you're
arguing about this weird smut illustration, and I am right.
No,
And it's
you're
not
wrong.
important. Also, look at the background of... That's not refreshments the drow guard
Oh,
is
that's a
holding.
dildo! And a butt plug.
So that author put a lot of... that illustrator put a lot of work
Well, the
into
one in
this.
the background has definitely got a blue face, but her breasts are definitely not blue.
They all have bleached white hair, pointy ears, and a blue-purple skin tone, Anna. This is not a discussion.
Their
That's a
skin tone is
drow.
not purple. No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
We... Okay, so we are on the WordPress of the illustrator, and this image is called Naughty Drow, with the alt text
Oh, he's
of
bad at this.
Drowsy Final Low.
No, this guy is bad at doing drow then.
This supports my belief of drow with a wide range of skin tone that is not luminescent ebony.
How did we get into this conversation again?
We were talking about NPCs I liked, and then we got into this weird rut.
Oh.
What were we doing?
I was leaving the haberdashery with my new hat.
Okay. Cool. Oh. This guy has... one more thing. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at bad fantasy art. I hate it.
It's not even very anatomically correct, so, you know. The boobs are sad.
So, now that we're off weird sex dungeons.
For now.
Yeah, so your the custom hat will take a while. You wanted something special, it's gonna be special.
It is going to be special. I will be friends with Grimjaw.
But we're not gonna skip a week in game. It's not gonna really fit the rest of the players' narratives. But we'll say this was the afternoon of you guys getting... Oh, no, never mind. You guys got in the evening. So, do you want this to be the night of you getting back? Or do we want to move on to the next day?
I was thinking the next day.
Okay. So, you crawl out of whatever barrel, sewer grate, or cheap hotel room you may have found for the evening. You certainly have the money, but maybe you don't really want to spend it.
Well, I don't know. What was the weather like last night?
I mean, it's getting on into autumn, so it was a bit brisk, but not very cold, and it's definitely not snow weather.
I slept on the roof.
You slept on a roof? Is that like a normal thing for
On
you?
the library roof.
Wow, that must have been sneaky of you. They don't normally let people onto the roof, especially because it's not like it's tiled and everything. Or not tiled, shingled.
Are they gargoyles?
Clay shingles. There actually are not gargoyles. It's a very.
But I didn't sleep on the roof.
You'd only want there to be there if there were gargoyles?
Yeah.
Alright, you want to go find, like, what would have, because there aren't any cathedrals in the city. You can try crashing on, like, some wealthy manor house's roof.
Nah, that's too risky.
That's too risky.
Yeah, they have guards and shit.
Yeah. You know what? The Queen's Theater, which is an open air theater, up the upper levels that have almost arched walls, not really for seating, but similar to what you'd see in a coliseum. So those sorts of upper sections that are really just for decoration. And those would have a range of human gargoyles, in the sense that they are meant to look like poets or great performers, but with very humorously horrific faces.
Yes, I would sleep there.
Okay. Luckily, they don't, gate in the theater while it is not in use. But that's also because there's a very low homeless population in this city, so they're not really worried about anything other than teenagers sneaking in and putting on lewd plays.
As teenagers are wont to do.
It's counterculture. Like, raves and heelys, that sort of thing.
Did you just say compare heelys to raves?
Well, similarly counterculture, like, you got their rebellious teen in their heelys cruising around the city streets at night.
How are heelys counterculture?
They're whizzing around the people, making them drop stuff because they're all quick. They're spinning around. When the guards come, they just drop onto their feet and act like they don't have wheels. They just blend back in.
Taylor, are there heelys in your campaign setting?
Yes.
Oh my god.
There are. There are now, yes.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah. We'll say that's a pretty localized thing. It's a new fad that's started up. And it's really quite dangerous. The city doesn't really have enough elevation or condensed buildings to get quite of like a parkour sport. Like,
so they fill the niche with heelys?
Yeah. Like, there are some buildings that are a few stories at most down in like Publishers Row, but due to the heavy clay shingles and the steep slope of the roofs, parkour is just a bad idea, not really worth the risk. It's not interesting enough. So yeah, heelys.
I think you underestimate how bored he is.
Yeah, lewd plays and heelys.
And raves! Don't forget the raves.
Not quite raves in this, but, dark bardic music. I like to think that there are, acoustic clubs set up to be like really aggressive metal, but without the electronic requirement. Okay, so I need to hide our chat window, I realize, because every time I look down there's a supine and bare drow prisoner, which is really uncomfortable and disconcerting.
Certainly explains the rate of the pauses.
Yeah, because I keep looking down like, oh.
That's still there.
Ma'am. Excuse me. Were we even discussing... Oh yeah, we were discussing where you spent the night.
Yeah, and I insisted on having gargoyles.
Uh-huh. See, this session isn't so much about doing things, it's really just world building.
And us just having a talk.
Yeah.
This is just going to be like one of our phone calls with a light narrative.
Mm-hmm. A vague direction. But this is important because, as I was saying, I guess before we got started, I kind of really only made this city in detail this afternoon, like around 5.
Mm-hmm.
Before I really just had the library and the history of the pulping. So some economic details. With, you've got the Mustard Ash Memorial Bridge and whatnot.
What?
Oh. This is actually important information for you that it will probably come up at some point. Since the pulping was several hundred years ago. I think it was 200 years.
Uh-huh.
And so when Shaw declared its independence from Westinghill, declared itself a city unto itself, and actually applied for citizenship of Pelham, which is on the other side of the river. And so Shaw, formerly Westinghill, was actually the exception there of this little blip of a border. In their rebellion that lasted several days of outright fighting, all the bridges between the two halves of the city were burned and destroyed in the fighting. And then even after an armistice was established, everyone was just so angry at each other. By the way, in the fighting, there's the actual pulping, where very prominent mill barons and paper mill barons were thrown into their pulpers. An overlarge paper airplane that was sent over from Westinghill set on fire, as in like a bombardment tool, because they could just send it over the river burning and have it crash into buildings as like,
oh my god,
artillery. One was actually caught by a wayward breeze and carried much higher than intended, crashed into the Westinghill Zoo, and killed in a burning inferno the much beloved owlbear Mustard. And so after several decades of heated rivalry and no way to cross to the other city without taking a very overpriced ferry, because these were just extortionist rates, the governments finally negotiated the building of a single bridge just so trade could resume, because these were both very important cities and they were losing thousands of gold having to go around for miles. And so the Mustard Nash Memorial Bridge, named for the owl bear and one of the mill barons, and that is actually still, to this day, the only way across the river, and is not guarded despite being between the two cities. However, it is the point where empirical authority ends. So while Kelda has agreed to use the empirical system, they are granted certain liberties with its interpretation and sorting. So that's how authors are actually recognized in Kelda. Because by converting during, the big empire thing, they got to keep their independence. Their monarch was not discreetly killed and replaced by a distant yet previously unknown relative who was much more sympathetic, things like that. But the important thing here is the independence of literary interpretment you have in Westinghill does not extend over the bridge.
I see.
So if you ever go over there, you need to tread a little more carefully, which your character would know.
Okay. Yep.
Also,
They named it after the owl bear.
yes, and a rich man who abused his power. They had very rough wages and a lot of tariffs, which is why they seceded
I know.
and
You
declared
told me
themselves
it's
a
just
workers' republic.
so incredibly detailed.
The rest of the party wouldn't have let me give that explanation, which is why I came so much.
Yeah, well, I have a weakness in world building.
You do, and this way you can bring half-remembered facts forward when they're relevant to the party. Because
Assuming
you
I
would
remember.
know them as the bard and history person, and
Also, as
your vague recollections of them will also be a little more natural. You'll be like, oh yeah, they named it after some owlbear, I think, that was killed by a paper airplane. The party will be like, what now?
I cannot wait to hear Logan and John's reaction to this.
Yeah. And this way it's coming from you, so it's like you're making this shit up on the fly, but no, it's history. It's real.
Nope, it's for real. And they'll be like, Taylor, did you collaborate to pull this out of here at Collective Ashes?
Nope. I've just spent far more time on random history than short adventures. We have like 3 long-term things that have either begun or are in the work, will soon begin. But like the short-term adventures I'm scrambling with. Like, no, I need pacing here. I need pacing.
Okay, so we've established where I slept for the night.
Yeah.
I got hats. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what I should do, so I came up with like 3 options. It was the friend Grimdraw, the friend random NPCs.
Mm-hmm. You can befriend
Okay,
the
that
people
was
at the
good.
library.
Yeah,
Aside from
and I don't
Grimdraw.
remember what the third option was.
Um,
Find a poetry slam or something like that.
find a what?
A poetry slam?
Oh.
You've
Alright.
got raves and heelys. I'm sure you've got poetry slam.
Yeah. The Brash Cockerel actually is a very well-known recitation bar.
Mm-hmm.
Nationally renowned, absolutely. Maybe not internationally so, but especially in Westinghill, it has a reputation where people go to cut their teeth in the performative arts, and in many cases try to get discovered. It is an open forum, quite a long waiting list in some cases, but there are nights where anyone can kind of scramble up. And, it's claimed that they have been the first, the places where many distinguished authors and poets, or even later actors, were first discovered. So that would absolutely be something you have heard of. There are, of course, smaller, more specialized, even more exclusive locations, but that is for your reference.
Sort of fresh stuff.
The Brash Cockerel. Some call it even the Cocky Cock.
The cocky. I'm not calling it the cocky cock, Taylor.
Just
You
me?
pulled that out of your ass. No.
Well, that is what Brash is, and, we
I know
abbreviate
what
cock.
brash is. I'm not calling it the cocky cock.
maybe that's just, what the inside crowd knows to call it. You'd really be, you'd be gaining some points if you called it that.
Taylor, I will hurt you.
Fine. You wanted to stop by Westinghill? Or Memorial? Or Municipal? Jeez, I get all of these library names. Okay, yeah, you're the Municipal. You're the Municipal Library.
The Memorial implies somebody died for that name.
Yeah, and,
Sebastian, stop trying to eat my pencil. I'm trying to use that to write. My cat has decided to join us at long last, and ready to pencil.
So, before I take you to the municipal library, I did want to ask, when and for what purpose do you want to stop by? Do you want to just go by, after your breakfast, see what's up? You guys did just come in from a mission, and normally missions take far longer than the, 2 days you guys were gone for?
Mm-hmm.
So it's unlikely you will have anything waiting for you in terms of...
Well, she did say it was 3 days. It was 3 days, no more.
Yeah, like she said, this is all you'll need. But at the same time, that was supposed to be a short mission. But what I mean is that when you're gone for weeks on end, by the time you come back, generally something has filtered through, like a rumor or funding for a dig or something along those lines. After 2 days, it's unlikely that even if they did have a mission, they'd be giving it to you guys, because you did just have a job.
And also, we're kind of known for our incompetence. And
that is one way to interpret it, but it is also that you are all very new to the job. So this was probably your third mission at the most. Effluvia gave the impression that you were all complete losers. I may have implied the same thing when trying to prompt your any sort of character background you may have wanted. You don't need to read too far into that.
Taylor,
I
you
suggested.
basically said you're all complete losers. Taylor, you may as well have said it.
Yeah, I said you are either very new to your job or very bad at it, or at least very mildly incompetent. But I'm saying it is a possibility. I'm not meaning to say you guys are actually bad at your job. Maybe you just cause a lot of problems wherever you go. So you get your job done. You've never failed outright. But maybe you create, trouble.
We're like Deadpool.
Yeah. So don't read into my suggestions as being law. I'm merely trying to spark whatever stories you may want to tell. So if your vision does not coincide with my own, let me know. We'll be able to find middle ground smoothly in this story arc. But the reason I began with this explanation is because when we were discussing off-air, you expressed an interest in getting to know Grimjaw. And Grimjaw gets there very early in the day, goes into his study, and does not come out until very late at night. Higher-ranking individuals than you go into his office all the time, conferences, questions, everything like that, but you're not really supposed to bother him directly. Effluvia's job as the assistant head of acquisitions is to be bothered directly.
Yeah, I remember you saying that their relationship was kind of like a what's the face from Parks and Rec.
Oh, yes, Ron Swanson and April. So you have the frowny person who's supposed to keep people from bothering him. So you've probably seen Grimjaw like once or twice if he needed to leave his office, but if you want to actually catch him, you need to time yourself around that. However, if you're not looking to track him down right now, you can just stop by the library, see what's what.
I'll do that, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's obviously much too late in the day to catch them.
You can, well, retroactively, you can wake up earlier in the morning, get your tea to go on your walk, things like that. But if you just want to stop by, let's see, it would be Caspar of Goldenrod. He's the senior page. He's working circulation right now, so he's at the front desk. It's before noon, a bright day. Sun filtering in through the large two-story windows that dominate the front wall of the library. This is mostly an outer reading area. There are general shelves, or the general stack shelves, so people might be looking for periodicals from the city. There are several newspapers, or from the country, or even neighboring ones. Not quite as up-to-date, but still fairly recent. They are all brought in very regularly. Everyone likes to know what's going on. And since publishing is obviously such a major part of this country, literacy is very widespread, and newspapers are common. Further to the back of the library, through some doors, there are other reading areas and just larger general stacks. These are patrolled by many pages. You have the back offices, obviously. You have, let's call the inner sanctum, which is on the main floor, and you can see the general area, but it's separated by not just the reading, not just the circulation desk, but a series of low walls, like half walls, where a lot of desks are for administrators. It's also where Effluvia's raised desk is, and that kind of marks the border to the back rooms, where the main offices are, such as Simeon.
Effluvia Marsh, gatekeeper of the...
Yes. And she blocks the way, most notably to Grimjaw's, the Red's office, Simeon Bumbleblue, who is the head librarian, and also to the access to the archives, which are a much larger section of the library, mostly reference history or older books that they don't want to be handled by the everyday people. You can ask for clearance to be escorted down there if you have specific requests, or you can have things brought out to you. And that is the domain of Sen, who is the head archivist. And we've discussed Sen briefly.
Don't recall, all grown up.
Just because you recognized their name as... we realized being an NPC in John's campaign, which I was not aware of, or I did not remember, rather. And we were making it, but Sen's wonderful. They're a bit older, very friendly, but
they?
often... Yeah, they. But they are often caught up in something a bit absent-minded. You've probably not had a conversation with them, but they're faintly smiling as they stare off into the distance when you do see them.
I want to be friends with everybody.
Aww. So, yeah, that's the main number of people. Well, the main staff. Notably, you also have Caria Goldengray, who's a junior administration. She's the one who hired you guys. And she is a too-cool-for-school teenager, basically.
Oh, like...
Young, impatient, just... whenever you try to, like, ask her to do something, or, like, you ask her a question, she's just so put upon by that request. And, the fact that she never seems to be working and asks you about 3 questions before just saying, fine, sure, you're hired. So, completely coincidentally, she is also the daughter of Sycamore Goldengray, who's on the board of trustees. Yeah.
And they put her in charge of hiring.
Yeah, among other things. She's just one of the more junior administrations, so when it comes to hiring acquirers, book collectors. For general junior collectors, that doesn't go to Effluvia. She manages promotions and everything, but they kind of have a rolling selection of freelance workers that she can't really be bothered with.
I can't imagine that Effluvia would have hired us if we'd interviewed her.
Maybe not without, a couple of years of experience or internships. You could probably have been hired, but altogether, I'm not really sure that you were the best, most thought out hirings. Like, you're all perfectly competent, but together? Really? Like, there are no senior members to guide you. Normally, they like to pin junior collectors with a more experienced collector. Not so.
And also, not a bunch of squishy people.
Yeah. There's that.
This was not a well thought out team.
No, but you've got heart, which is the important thing. So.
Taylor, heart does not keep you from getting killed.
Constitution does.
It does.
And isn't that the same thing?
No, it's not.
Half puns.
I'm writing this down.
Anyway, so that's the general information and layout of the Westinghill Municipal. That was helpful for me, because I had no idea what it looked like before.
Yep, okay. I will go up to Caspar. Caspar?
Yeah. Caspar.
How do you pronounce his name?
Caspar of Goldenrod. You're not sure where Goldenrod is. Oh, hello. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. I've seen you around, though.
Caria.
Caria. Caria. What are you carrying?
I pull out a hat. This?
Good enough. Memory aids. What can I help you with, Caria?
I don't know, I just wanted to say hi. It's, we just got back from a retrieval mission. So, it's a day off.
Oh, you're in that team. Yeah, look, I'm glad you stopped by. Are the others coming?
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure what happened to them.
Oh, well, don't worry, that is not a big deal. You're not going anywhere. But I just got a note this morning from Grimjaw. He wanted to pass along some info. He was reading over your report about your trip. So no complaints. Don't worry. This isn't bad news. You did fine. Okay. The book is contained. We think it'll be a good addition to the collection under Sen's careful careful care. Anyway, so I'm not really sure how to tell you this. He's please don't take this about. He has no idea how you got hired.
Honestly, neither am I. Neither do I. I'm really not sure. Well, no, actually, I do know how I got hired. I got interviewed by some teenage-looking girl. Very pouty.
He snorts.
It was a very thorough interview, honestly. I felt kind of over-prepared.
You mean Miss Golden Gray? Yep. No, don't worry. And look, we're not firing you or anything. Grimjaw was just somewhat concerned about your survivability, which means he was simultaneously impressed by your survivability. The fact
that we live.
Yeah, that's impressive. Like, none of you died. Good job.
Yeah, no, there was an incident with a troll and a monkey train, and it was I don't know how.
A troll and a what?
A monkey train. It was
a monkey train. I didn't read the report. Monkey train?
That's what we decided to call it. It was like this rush of monkeys. I guess 101 of them. And we wound up sort of writing the swarm in order to get the book back.
Okay, so like a literal translation there. Okay, no, that's fine. Look, anyway, all that's being passed down is that he's going to be adding a new member to your team. Hopefully, someone who will make sure you don't die.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'm all for the not dying.
No word on that. I'm not. I don't think anyone's been chosen yet, or hasn't been passed on to me. I'm just supposed to let you guys know that you're going to have a new addition. Well, unfortunately, that means you're going to be splitting your rewards 4 ways. But that's the price we pay for not dying. Am I right?
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I mean, I made the troll love poetry. He got really into it. It was pretty cool.
Oh.
But then he tried to kill me.
Well, isn't that just precious?
It is. It was really nice. It might have been the content, though, that eventually inspired him to do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly student poetry.
Look, I don't want to keep you, and I should get back to doing these, but I think that's all I need to get you. Do you need me to like point you in any directions first, or are we just stopping by?
Just stopping by, just saying hi.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm gonna let you do your thing, and he starts like sliding down vertically, kind of like the elevator mime that people do when he's just kind of gesturing in random directions. Like I'll let you be until he just kind of slips beneath the desk, and you hear like some papers shuffling around.
I'm gonna peer over the desk.
He's in like a really deep squatting crouch, just like moving papers around. Like he's very clearly exited the conversation.
I'll leave him be then. King of awkward. I got it. Why is this guy on the front desk? I don't know.
He looks up as you've peered over. He's like, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm just working." And
I give him a thumbs up, and I
dutifully looks back down. Are you familiar with the beginning of The Hobbit with like the repeated "Good mornings" as he tries to escape?
A little bit.
Yeah, well, it's like a situation like that. He doesn't. It doesn't seem that he dislikes you. Like you didn't get that impression when you were conversing, but he seemed to get slightly higher in pitch with speaking the longer you went on, and a little more fidgety. So I think you've just reached the limit of him right now.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. I give him a thumbs up and I keep going.
All right. As you move away, you can gradually see him.
Anxiety by hiding under a desk. Got it.
Yeah, like you gradually see him just elevator back up at a very level speed. It's not popping up. He just slowly ascends to a standing position and returns to stamping books as he goes.
I like how he likes papers with him.
Mm-hmm. So that's Caspar.
I like.
Sometimes he does the desk. Mainly he just herds pages, which is like herding cats, only if maybe kittens. It's like herding kittens.
What, smaller and slightly less dangerous?
Yeah, like
Plumpier?
Pages are kind of just confused in many situations. Like if you don't give them specific enough tasks, they'll get like really nervous or get lost. Some panic. They're really just juniors. Junior pages don't even get me started. There have been junior pages that have just been found camping out in like distant reaches of the stacks. By the way, this library isn't that large. Like this isn't some labyrinthine mass of shelves and everything. Like the back, it gets a bit cluttered, a bit confusing, but you could probably, if you knew you were going, walk from one end of the back rooms to the other in like 20 minutes, winding your way through. These junior pages just get confused and panic, they're actually now required to travel with several days' rations on them, just by it's just a decision that had to be come to keep them alive, because they hunker down when they get worried. I spend a lot of time worrying about junior pages.
We're gonna have to wrap this up soon, to be honest, because I gotta be up at like 6 tomorrow.
Yeah, I was thinking we were gonna end at 10, assuming we get through things. This wasn't going to be like a full arced story or anything.
Or
it's
even
just,
half one.
Yeah, you're setting the seeds of your friendship or anything with people you want. So you've got the in for the party. Like, they know no one. You've made your rounds.
When does Grimjaw normally leave his office?
So the library closes to public access at about 9 every night. Except for weekends, which are a little earlier. Grimjar generally stays until a bit past midnight, and arrives about 4:30.
Is the man asleep?
You don't really know, if I'm honest. Like, you've never seen him sleep.
I barely see him at all.
Yeah, you've never heard him comment about sleeping well either. Like, obviously you haven't heard him. You haven't had a conversation with him.
Well, I know what I'm asking him tomorrow morning.
It's the sort of thing like with the pages who have a betting pool just about like how he lost that chunk of his jaw. No one really knows. There's just a running mystery around him.
Betcha he does it on purpose.
What, the mystery or?
The mystery, yeah.
Yeah, might be.
I think it was sort of an accident, and then he's just like, you know what, I'll go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a theory.
Anyways, I'm gonna, I'm gonna go see if I can find Sen.
Sure. Actually, Sen is fairly easy to find today, because they are on the main level in the... I've already forgotten the word I use for, like, the inner sanctum. Like...
Administration.
Yeah, like, I don't remember what I called that area on the fly.
The archive?
No. The somewhat enclosed region where the desks are and the offices. Yeah, not important. We'll call it many things over the time that we discuss it. So that inner area that's not for public access, you find Sen going through one of the main card catalog shelves. Now, there's a room dedicated to this, and that's just the main one. There are lower sections that have much more extensive catalog system, but this is for the main couple floors.
I forgot about card catalogs.
Yeah, and the problem with this, like, so you guys use the empirical system that is somewhat modified. You have like a general fiction section, things like that. So it's easy to access, casual reading. But then all non-fiction and reference is just rigidly under the empirical system, which is super meticulous of details, what is being discussed, for how long it is being discussed in a text. And that means the catalog system is extensive, confusing, and if you are unfamiliar with the system, impossible to find anything, despite it being like the most rigidly established thing. And you find Sen looking frazzled. Their hair is standing up at the front from just repeatedly running hands through it, trying to get it up out of their eyes and opening drawers, pulling out cards, frowning, putting them back in.
I say, hey! Ken, what's up?
So like, just kind of hunches down.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare
no,
you.
no. Not a problem. Hi. What can I do for you right now? As they're speaking with very forced calm, trying to bring their breathing down. Okay.
I just wanted to say hi.
Hello. You must excuse my lack of composure just then. I'm just experiencing the catalog system.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
It's nice to say hello.
To the catalog system or to people?
To you.
Okay. Taylor,
Yes.
why do all of your employees have social anxiety?
Well, one... I mean, we could make this a role if you really wanted, but... first off, people with social anxiety are generally drawn to the jobs where they get to hide from people to surround themselves with books. Like, that's a thing.
Taylor, Caspar works at the front desk.
Yeah, but he's ahead of pages. Like, he didn't sign on for customer service. That's just part of his job. And specifically, it seems like Sen is distracted more than anxious about meeting you. Like, they were very clearly tense about something, and you just startled them, and they're just trying to bring it down. Not so much anxiety, just level.
Okay. Sorry, I just, it's my day off. Didn't have much to do. Wanted to, make friends. Still kind of new to the job.
Oh, how wonderful. You're new. I can't really tell when people are new. I sometimes just see faces that are people I haven't seen before, but turns out they've worked here for longer than I have. How about that?
That sounds familiar, Taylor.
What?
That sounds familiar.
What sounds familiar? Does it?
Yeah, that sounds exactly like me. Yeah.
Like who?
Me.
Oh. Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Such an ass.
Hey, I don't intend these things. It's not my fault there are parallels to your own life.
Anyways.
Look, I'm sorry. I would welcome to the family. And look, another time we should absolutely talk more. I even occasionally leave the library.
Oh, fancy that.
So maybe I should I'll take you out for lunch sometime. How does that sound? Look, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Some of these cards are going blank.
What?
Some of the cards in this catalog are blank.
Why? How?
Well, occasionally I would find one, and I assume it's just a junior archivist sorting in a blank card by accident. Two cards get stuck together, and it just gets sorted in. And this happens from time to time, and it's not a concern. But now I'm trying to find a book that I've found before, and I know where it should be in this catalog. And right where it should be, in theory, is a section of about 20 blank cards. And this has gone by the chance of a mistake, a clerical error. Someone is taunting me. Someone is taunting me with the system I am responsible for. This is an act of war, youngin'.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I always wanted to call somebody youngin'.
Okay. It just sounds to me like somebody's trying to hide something.
How would that be hiding something, though? Because wouldn't that make it more obvious? Like, if they were just stealing books, wouldn't it be better to leave it the card in the system, and then when we try to find it, we assume it's been shelved wrong, and then it's lost in the tens of thousands of books we have. Hundreds of thousands, actually.
I don't know. I guess maybe they didn't think it through like that. Maybe...
No. See,
maybe they're protesting the system. I don't know.
This is my thought. Maybe it's a protest, but they are trying to be conspicuous. And I need to get to the bottom of this.
Do you know if the books themselves are still there?
Well, this is one that just came to my attention this morning. I haven't been able to go down there yet. It's quite an experience getting down to the lower archives. So I haven't had quite time to prepare for that. But, oh, believe you me, I am going to. I am going to get to the bottom of this.
Well, good luck with that. Let me know how that turns out. What?
You're not on a job right now, are you?
No. Me and my team, we're off duty right now. We just got back.
How do you guys feel about some extra credit?
Well, I mean, I don't know where they are right now. But, I mean, I can ask them.
I think I'd rather have your type rather than, say, some of the pages. Or even some of my archivists. They mean well, but they're not accustomed to the rigors of these middle-sized libraries. They're often small local ones. You know what I mean? Single floor. Not really ready for, well, find your friends if you don't mind. I know this is probably imposing. I just thought I got into the zone. I had a plan. Look, if you're busy, don't worry about it.
No, we're cool. I'll ask them. I mean, it might be a little bit. We can get back to you. Because we just got back yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure they'll be down for that. They're up for that kind of thing.
All right. Come by this afternoon if you can find them. We'll set up a plan. Tomorrow, we head down to the lower archives.
Okay. I'm Caria, by the way.
Caria. All right. I'm Sen. They hold out their hand.
I shake it.
A cloud of book dust just kind of poofs out as you grasp their hand. And you
Should I roll to see if I sneeze?
Sure.
Okay. That actually requires
give me a fortitude save.
Against sneezing from book dust?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a second. Fortitude. What is my fortitude? It's actually not bad for level 1 bard. That's a 21.
You sniffle your nose a couple times, and you manage to keep the sneeze down like a pro.
Awesome.
It's like not coughing when you're like smoking a cigar or something.
Mm-hmm.
Equivalent to that, or like drinking whiskey or something. Not coughing or sneezing was, that's good. It's impressive. You're not a tenderfoot there. Tender nose. And that is where we can end for the night, I suppose. You found adventure there at the end.
Yeah.
It took us about an hour to get anywhere with a plot, but
it happened.
We had a weird trip getting there.
Yeah, it took me. I got approximately 2, 3, 4, 5 quotes out of that.
Yeah, and you made it through the first 10 minutes of an adventure. All by yourself.
I bought a hat.
You bought a hat.
I made friends. I bought 2 hats.
Anyway, that is our weird episode. Chillaxin'.
Yeah.
And talking about Westinghill.
Yeah.
So
it was mostly just backstory, world building, and
whatever else this became. Anyway, tune in next week for a real session
Yeah, pretty much.
Woo!